We're gonna make Mrs. Miller's chocolate cake with seafoam icing. Sorry, I got carried away eating it. Alright, here's the recipe for Mrs. Miller's chocolate cake. As an option, you can spray your pan with PAM, non-stick cooking spray, or you can take a small amount of Crisco and just spread that evenly. You only need a light layer. Just spread that all the way into the corners. All right, let's add the ingredients together and then beat for 2 minutes. I'll just start dumping all the ingredients in there. And remember to measure your flour by scooping and dumping it into your measuring cup and then leveling it off. And do the same thing with your cocoa. Measure it out with a spoon and dump it into your measuring cup and then level it off. And the recipe says 1 cup diluted canned milk. And what that means is you take your evaporated milk and you dilute it equal parts to make 1 cup. So that means you take 1/2 cup of water and 1/2 cup of canned milk, evaporated milk, and that gives you 1 cup of diluted canned milk. All right, now we will let it rest for 5 minutes and we'll come back and add the final 1 cup of hot water. This part gets a little tricky because the batter is going to be really thin and be splattering everywhere. So this is my 1 cup of hot water. I just used my same measuring cup that I had the milk in. That's why it's cloudy like that. And just hot tap water is good. It doesn't have to be boiling. So we'll just add that in there. It's still going to splatter, but I have found that if you pulse the mixer, that it just makes it a little bit less messy. And adding your water in a little at a time also. Cook your cake until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean or with just a few crumbs on it. So you bring your pot of water to a boil for 5 minutes with the thermometers in there, and you can see proof. One thermometer read 202 and the other one that I'm testing reads about 209. And that's how you want to be able to calibrate your thermometer. So now that I know my thermometer reads at 209, I will subtract that from sea level temperature, and that gives me 3, which means that I need to remove 3 degrees from my recipe with that thermometer right there. So my recipe calls for 250 degrees sea level temperature, so I'll remove 3 degrees from that, So with that thermometer right there, I will be looking for 247 on the thermometer. After I have calibrated my thermometer, I take it a step further and I take a Ziploc bag and put that thermometer into it, but on the bag I label all the important information that goes with that thermometer. So this thermometer said that the boiling point was 209 degrees, which is a 3-degree difference. And so I write on the bag, this thermometer reads boiling point at 209 degrees. Subtract 3 degrees from your recipes. If the recipe says to cook to 250 degrees and you use this thermometer needs to read 247 degrees. All right, put your eggs into a large bowl, and we only need the egg whites. One of the most important parts of making the seafoam icing is that you need all of your tools, your bowl and your beaters, to be dry and clean. And you need to make sure there is no egg yolk in the egg white. To my 3 egg whites, add a pinch of salt. And now we will beat the egg whites just for a few moments until they are foamy. Into the small saucepan, and size does matter when it comes to making the simple syrup. Add the water, add the brown sugar, and give it a light stir. And now, no more stirring. Put your heat on a medium heat and let it come up to 250 degrees, which is the sea level temperature. And remember, with my thermometer here that I calibrated, I'm looking for 247. No stirring, just let it boil. All right, there's 247. That's what it looks like. Turn the heat off. And that's why it's called 7-minute icing, because that process takes around 7 minutes from the time that it starts boiling really hard. Okay. And now we add the vanilla and beat just a little bit longer until, again, nice stiff peaks. You want your cake to be absolutely cooled. If your cake has any warmth to it, it'll instantly melt this icing and ruin it. And then just put it on.